that? Why is he in such an eager? Why is there such an eagerness to take this damn jet, considering how bad it looks?
All right, this I don't know 100%. Like everything I said before, I think he said it would be easier to convert and use this thing to continue to maintain the old ones. Because the old ones, like you said, are from, I think we got them either with Bush or Reagan. They're really old.
Yeah, it's old, but it's old. But I'm just the issue I have is this. I don't see where the aircraft he's getting from Qatar is any different than any other 747 in America because it's owned by royalty in Qatar, so it has luxuries on it. But in terms of its aeronautics, it's no different than any 747 that's already in this country. It just probably has gold and all kinds of precious metals and showers and shit that he likes on it. But other than the luxuries that's on it, you could just take one that's already here and outfit it. There's no need to take this aircraft. It's not that much better other than the fact that it has luxuries on it. But in terms of the electronics, the aeronautics and all that, it's not any better. It's a 747.
Yeah, I think you said earlier that it wasn't American made. It's an American made Boeing 747, just like any other Boeing 747.
Right.
It was just pimped out like Qatar.
Right.
I mean, I don't even think they're going to really have time to convert it in time to actually make any use of it. I don't think they're going to convert it overnight. We don't even know if they're going to let him do it. You see all the blowback. He might not even get a chance to do it.
Do you think the blowback is?
Even if you can't use it Air Force One, we could put it somewhere else. I mean, Department of Defense, I'm sure, could use another free airplane.
Do you think the blowback is legit? Is this a legitimate issue for so much blowback?
Not for getting a free plane, but for going to his library. That part, I don't know what it means. I don't know what the library could do with it. I don't know if he's still going to have access to it when it's in his library. Yeah. I don't even know what that means. Is library gonna have a fucking hanger? Like,
yeah.
You know,
yeah,
is librarian like gonna use it to go get books for him? I don't know what the fuck it means.
I mean, we don't know. It can be used like Elvis old aircraft at Graceland, where you can just get on and tour and pay a fee, or he could actually be flying it. We just don't know. But let me ask it to you this way: why would Qatar just give over $400 million worth of aircraft? Why do you think that's happening?
I mean, why do we give out money all over the world to have the United States on their side? To have the friendship and protection of the United States. I mean, we do it all the time. Why is it okay when we give money to everybody all over the world?
Nobody just gives a wealthy nation $400 million, MAGA. Listen, we're not. He's not exactly.
We're not wealthy. We're like 30 trillion in debt or whatever the fucking number
You're
is.
giving it to
the poorest nation. We just spend money the most.
You're giving it to the head of state. You're not giving it to some citizen in the middle of the hood somewhere. You're giving it to Trump. You're giving it to a very wealthy person already. Why would they give this man an aircraft that theoretically he could afford to buy himself?
Just to carry favor with him. I mean, they're trying to be friends. I mean, Denkel did say some true shit that they got a lot of trouble for disagreeing with Kushner and his dad. And they even said next time we'd rather pay him than fucking... Because they had a lot of issues between them and the Saudis. But I don't care about any of that shit, to be honest with you.
Is it possible, because it sounds like you're kind of alluding to that, like what Denkel was saying, is it possible that this aircraft could be somewhat of a bribe?
Oh, it's definitely a bribe.
And you don't care about that?
I mean, it's going to our government. More countries should bribe our government. I mean, everything. I mean, what the fuck? Everything. America makes deals with everybody. Are you telling me every deal that we make has to be negative for us? That we can't have any benefits to America? Like a free airplane, like better trade? I mean, some deals actually benefit America. And they're upset because this one benefits Trump a little bit more directly than most deals.
Yeah, because that's the point. It's not benefiting America. It's benefiting Trump. The country don't make. In fact, the country got to pay to maintain this thing. How is it benefiting America?
Air Force One.
Huh?
I mean, it's a free airplane for America.
No, it's not.
It's going to the Department of Defense.
You're taking this jet You're going to spend millions of dollars making it safe for Trump to fly. Then you're going to spend the millions of dollars it takes to constantly maintain this. And then once Air Force One, the regular one, is complete, this one just goes off. I mean, literally, you're going to spend millions of dollars for an aircraft that's only going to be in use for a few years at most. How is that benefiting the American people? Why wouldn't he just fly the one he got for that the next few years? And isn't he telling us to sacrifice and only buy 2 dolls?
I don't know if this is 100% true, but he's saying that it'll be cheaper to do this than continuing to maintain the old ones.
Right, like it would be.
I don't believe it, to be honest with you. But that's the current fluff on his side, I guess.
Yeah, he's the same guy. He's the same guy that's telling.
I mean, I agree with you on a lot of it, but it's also a free airplane. I think we should accept the airplane, and I think it should stay with the Department of Defense. I'm surprised they're not giving it to the Air Force. Usually the Air Force is the one that owns the airplanes.
They're giving it to the Air Force. They're giving it to the Air Force or the military to retrofit it so it's safe.
Department of Defense is the Air Force too. I don't know how that
Yeah, whatever the case may be, the military will have it to make sure it's safe for him to fly. But the fact is, he is going to be the only person using this airplane for the rest of the life of this aircraft. It's going to be in his control. It's not going to the American people.
I will bet you money up to like $1,000 that Boeing will have more delays and the airplane's going to stay Air Force One for longer than 4 years.
If you give him that luxurious 747, I would actually be on your side of that bet, because those delays are probably going to be initiated by him, because chances are the jet he's getting is more luxurious than the one they're building. So he's going to make sure those delays. He's going to make sure those delays last for the rest of his presidency. You're right; those delays are going to happen. They're going to be orchestrated by him.
Yeah. So the airplane has to stay for the next presidency. 2028 is in 4 years when we're going to have our next election.
Oh my God!
I don't think he's ever going to see, like on the regular path, he was never going to see the new plane, even though it was ordered back then.
So what?
He gets his third plane.
So what? I mean,
it's no big deal, but I'm saying this plane could benefit the next president, is what I'm saying as well. Like, this could be a free airplane that we get to keep using more than 4 years if there's more delays with Boeing, which I'm betting there are going to be more delays. So more delays fucks him because he doesn't get to take it to his library in 4 years. I mean, they're not going to give up an Air Force One until the new Air Force Ones are delivered.
But you just admitted that this aircraft is likely a bribe. I don't know why folks keep saying it's a free airplane. If you're admitting it's a bribe, then it's not free. It's not free if you're admitting that it's for something.
I think whatever we're going to do with Qatar, we're going to do it anyway. We might as well get a free airplane.
Oh my God. Really?
You're missing the benefits to all this. Like, you're saying gas is going down. I think that's because our friends in OPEC, Qatar, and the Saudis are also, like, Trump's old friends is a weird, it's so weird that Trump's very close with Israelis and all the Arabs. So he's on the Israeli side helping them out, and then he's also on the Arab side helping them out. So we're getting cheap gas, I think we're closer to Middle East peace than ever before.
That should tell you something. That should actually tell you something. That should actually tell you something. You friends with both sides of this. That makes it clear you probably don't have a lot of principles. You friends with both sides, and oddly enough, both sides are giving you shit. So I mean, it just sounds like you're selling yourself out to the highest bidder.
No, but this is benefiting the whole world.
How?
Peace in the Middle East. Well, we've been chasing peace in the Middle East since the fucking 80s or 70s.
There is no peace in the Middle East.
By being friends with both. I mean, are you really complaining about him being friends with everybody?
I don't see him being friends with everybody bringing peace in the Middle East. I don't see that happening.
Really?
Give me some examples.
I see it's the best way to do it. How are you going to do it with only being friends with one side and enemies of the other side?
Give me some examples. Well, first of all, if you're going to be, you can negotiate peace by being a neutral nation. You don't need to be friends with any damn body. But give me an example of how him being friends with both sides has ended any of this stuff. The Israeli-Pakistan...
That's negotiation 101. You're trying to negotiate between two parties. You find someone that's friends with both of them. Neutral works sometimes, but friends is gonna work the best. Enemies is definitely not gonna work.
Trump is not.
It's basic common sense. I don't know why you even like ask me this question.
Because Trump is not
fighting
friend.
with your wife. Do I send your wife's best friend that's also friends with you to talk between you guys? Or do I send your ex-girlfriend?
What the hell are you talking about? You're saying he's friends with both sides. You got two wars. You got two wars going on in the world right now, predominantly. That is Ukraine and Russia, and that is Israel and the Palestinians. He's not friends with both sides of either one of them. What the hell are you talking about? He's not friends with the Palestinians. He's not friends with Ukraine.
He's friends with Hamas directly, but he's friends with all the Arab countries.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's friends with Iran.
Well, Iran's the only exception, but Iran's like
He's friends with Iraq, Turkey. What do you mean he's friends with all the? No, he's not.
We're not friends with Iraq and Turkey.
He's based on what?
We are allies with Iraq, and Turkey's part of the EU, so we're kind of friends with them too. So
kinda.
I don't know about saying, Iraq is basically we built their fucking government from scratch. We're definitely friends with Iraq.
We are not friends with Iraq. I don't know what's making you say that.
Ally. Iraq is what Afghanistan should have been. If fucking Biden didn't fuck it up.
Iraq is essentially a nation with no damn government.
That's our government.
You think America is currently allies with Iraq?
1,000%. We built that government from scratch. Everybody in the Iraq government we put there. We funded everything. We basically we spent trillions building Iraq and Afghanistan, and we kept Iraq. Hell, we spent trillions building Iraq, and then we spent more money getting it back from ISIS, and then the same with Afghanistan, except Afghanistan was given back to the Taliban to fucking Biden.
I don't know where you have gotten it. We somehow are allies with Iraq. You the first I've ever heard say that.
There are puppets. How do you not know this?
I have never heard that.
Our puppet nation. We built them from scratch. Like we paid for everything. We put everybody in power.
You're saying that Iraq is up and running and they got a stable government that we put in power. I'm not aware any of that's true.
What do you think is happening in Iraq right now?
It's a mess. They're still fighting to see who takes the leadership.
Afghanistan is a mess. Don't confuse Afghanistan with Iraq.
Okay. I haven't heard that Iraq has this stable government. So who currently is the leadership in Iraq if they got this stable government? And then we're allies with.
I don't know that much.
Right, because it doesn't exist. You don't know it because it doesn't exist.
It doesn't. Come on, man. I'll look up the details. I'll message them to you later.
All right, I'll move it on. You send me what you got. I'll move it on.
More things. The other bullshit you guys were talking about is negotiating with terrorists, Hamas being terrorists. We've been negotiating with Hamas since day one, under Biden. Unfortunately, they're the government of Gaza, and they do have the hostages, so we have to negotiate with them. I mean, we've been negotiating from the beginning with them. Like, who do you think we've been negotiating with?
I don't know.
Terrorists.
Go ahead. What you saying?
We've been negotiating from day one. Like, how is it they're terrorists and Trump's negotiating with? We've been doing this since day one, since Biden.
I'll tend to agree that there's probably some backdoor negotiations going on, despite what they say. I'll agree with that part, but there's other shit you're talking about. I gotta move it on though. Thank you. All right.
I got more.
Friends with Iraq. Friends with Iraq. Has anybody else heard that? Friends with Iraq. I have not heard that. Sorry, confused, but it's nice to see Trump. Wait a minute. But it's nice. Sorry, confused, but it's nice to see Trump to add mint to he is stupid. I'm still not getting this evil super Majin Boo. But it's nice to see Trump to add mint to he is stupid. LOL, and why he needs a big jet. He might turn it into soul play. I got the last part of it. But look, I don't, like I said, the jet thing makes no sense to me other than what my last caller was indicating, just not holding Trump accountable for it. It's a bribe. It's a bribe. That's absolutely, I would agree with what Denkel said, even though I'm not as quite knowledgeable of way he described it, which is that we were putting huge embargoes on the nation of Qatar exporting their oil reserves, which they have plenty of it. And so, as opposed to dealing with Trump being petty or vindictive against them and blocking their ability to export, they just decided to give him a jet for him to shut the fuck up. Let's just give him a gift to keep him happy so he don't interfere with our business anymore. That makes sense. That actually makes sense. I'm not for certain that's the way it is, I'll admit that, but to me that makes a lot of sense. It's almost like, a member of the mafia or some drug dealer realizing that some local police sergeant in the neighborhood might interfere with their business. So as opposed to dealing with this shit, give him some kind of trinket to make him happy. Because we are the world's police. That makes sense. That does make sense. Because Trump could impose sanctions and really hurt countries. He really could do that. And listen, if we got to pay him, give him a damn jet worth $400 million, that ain't shit for a country that has the oil wealth of Qatar. That, to me, that makes sense. Like I said, I'm not certain that is the case, but logically speaking, it does make sense. But continuing on in the comments here, make sure I didn't miss anything. Thank you, folks, for tapping the screen. Give me on up to 70,000, if you will. Tap the screen. Thank you, Susie D. Appreciate the support. I'm a little bit late to the program. Susie D says he makes deals, but he won't inform the next president. That's true too. Look, I have stated that it's nice to have a president that talks to the people like Trump does every day. But I do question whether he is actually being transparent. Just because you're talking to the people don't mean you're actually telling them what's going on. And I can see that in Trump. I mean, he's talking to the people, but a lot of things he says, for instance, don't pan out, or some of it just factually is false. Like a lot of the waste, fraud, and abuse that Elon Musk was claiming. All of that stuff is not even true, but they was on TV bragging about it all the time. So I like talking to the people. I like the fact that Trump goes on television and talks to the people. But it would be more beneficial if what he was saying was always true. I mean, don't come and talk to me and tell me that in Springfield they're eating cats and dogs when it really are not doing that. Or you don't follow up and show proof that it's happening, which is kind of what took place. But anyway, looking in the comments, Big Brother Rolo convicted by 12 of his peers. That did happen. Poor white hate. Rolling my, what are you talking about there? Poor white hate. Going back to the box. Something we haven't done. We haven't went over to Instagram. And we will do that when there's nobody on there. Let me see here. Thought I had somebody on Instagram that was waiting. As long as Trump is talking, he is lying. Damn. And Deadpool says MAGA likes the lies. You think MAGA likes Trump being deliberately dishonest? Is that what you're saying? Gangsta grandma. No fluffing today, right, gangsta?
Yes, you are.
How?
Sorry, you
How?
Girly Pop, sit your ass down somewhere. Yeah, I swear to God, Girly Pop, you just get on my damn fucking nerves. You beyond fluffing, though. You beyond fluffing.
Give me how did I fluff? What did I say?
Okay, Iran and Pakistan, he didn't do shit. Pookie, Ray Ray, Buttercup, he did not do shit. He didn't.
I believe.
They came out, both of them, both of the countries, wrote a letter and say he didn't do shit. They came together and did it. They didn't need the white man to do shit.
So you're saying India and Pakistan decided to have a peace deal on their own in Trump administration?
They did it. They both came out and called him a fucking liar. And what? Next.
Okay.
Next.
What about the fact that he brought a hostage home today?
Does he want a cookie? Does he want a fucking cookie? Girly Pop, does he want a cookie?
I mean,
Does he want a chocolate chip Oreo? What does he want? He probably don't want the Oreo because it's chocolate. He probably wants a fucking white sugar cookie. Because you know what he's doing.
But for real.
That's the chocolate or brown up in this shit.
Does he not deserve credit? I mean, if
He don't deserve shit. What he does deserve is get that $400 million plan, put all his people on it, And hopefully it goes down.
You said hopefully the aircraft.
I
Hopefully,
wish Kills would put all of Trump's administration on it, girly pop, and let it kill swim.
are you really wishing? Are you really wishing that Are you really wishing that the president's aircraft would crash?
Did I say that? I said it was wishful thinking, but the devil don't die.
I want you to.
He's a white supremacist. All right. Did you think I give two fucks about it? The way he showed me who he was the first time going around, I don't know. I don't give a damn. If he croaked me at it tomorrow, I'll say, okay, bye. What do you want me to do about it? I wouldn't give a damn.
Okay, I want you.
I don't like Christian nationalists. Thank you.
You've been kind of mean, but I want you to hear this.
I'm kind of mean. We have a whole racist in office being fucking mean and cruel to black and brown people, but white people over here. Oh my God. And I'm being mean? Get the fuck out. Quit being a fucking raccoon. I swear to God, Gully Pop. You get on my damn fucking nerves. You ready to fuck over up. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You are being mean, though.
Keep being mean, though, girly pop. I'm not being. I tell the fucking truth. Once somebody shows you who the fuck they are, who the fuck they are, girly pop. I don't kiss no white man's ass, Pookie. I'm not up here on this stage like you are. Oh well, you know what? I'm a fluff, bitch. Please, I call it like it fucking is. I wish.
Okay,
Unfortunately, the devil don't die.
Okay, devils don't die. I'm learning. I want you to hear this. Oh my God.
I really don't. I can tell you. The what he's trying to do with the prescription drugs, Biden did it.
That ain't what we about to talk about. I want you to hear this though.
Oh my God! Why do I got?
On Saturday, my administration helped broker a full and immediate ceasefire, I think a permanent one, between India and Pakistan, ending a dangerous conflict of two nations with lots of nuclear weapons. And they were going at it hot and heavy, and it was seemingly not going to stop. And I'm very proud to let you know that the leadership of India and Pakistan was unwavering, powerful, but unwavering in both cases, and having these, they really were, from the standpoint of having the strength and the wisdom and fortitude to fully know and to understand the gravity of the situation. And we helped a lot. And we helped also with trade. I said, come on.
Why won't you get a man credit?
He didn't do it, though. He did it. Pakistan came up. Both of the sides came and said it. He didn't do it. Go look it up. Google's free. Girly pop. Go ahead. Go look it up, girl. You know what? Well, if you're going to have a platform, can you at least Google the fucking shit before you start speaking?
I am Googling.
He really didn't do it. He really didn't do it.
Okay,
No, they came out on national TV, put the damn letters out there, and said he didn't do it. But you like to fluff so goddamn much.
So you do realize people are watching and saying you clearly have TBS when you won't even get a man credit for ending the damn war.
What the white man tells me I fucking got. I'm calling it like it fucking is. You know what? He is a fucking evil piece of shit. What he's doing to the black and brown immigrants, he's not doing to the white immigrants. He's not. Okay? He's a royal piece of shit. He did something to get that fucking plane. Okay? And they're so stupid and so uneducated. He did something. He did something. And it's against the fucking law. So if I fucking got TDS, then fuck you and fuck everything about you. Because you know what you got? Girly pop? Huh? You know what you got? Really? Yeah. Let's bend over. You're taking it up the ass, huh, without a condom.
Damn.
You're a white man, huh? Yeah. But you're a liberal? You a dim? No, you ain't. You an undercover maggot. That's what the fuck you is. My beloved MAGA. Get the fuck out of here. Motherfucker will hang you from a fucking tree and you'll still kiss the fucking ass. What the fuck?
Where do you get all this hostility from?
Because you know why? Because he's treating people like fucking shit. He's stealing from fucking fucking Medicaid. He's taking fucking from the poor. And you motherfuckers don't get it. You guys are so goddamn up his fucking ass, you guys don't get it. You feel what I'm saying? Oh, well, I got a jet. But guess what? 1 o'clock in the morning, yesterday morning, they're trying to fuck the American people. And you know who's going to get fucked the most? The red state. You know who is going to do it? The trailer park white trash that fucking voted his ass in. Hello?
Now,
We fought for them sorry asses, but they didn't fight for them, though.
listen, I'm willing to give criticism to Trump where it's deserved, but you got to be willing to get a man credit when he deserves credit as well.
You ain't no credit for what? You ain't one man home? You want a fucking Oreo cookie? Nope, you don't like Oreos because they black. What do you want? A sugar cookie?
What the
fuck?
What do you mean I don't like Oreos? Did you say that?
I didn't call you. I didn't say your ass. You don't like Oreos. A white man don't like Oreos. He don't like nothing but to it. But you give a shit for a cookie, he might like that.
Okay. All right, let me...
Nothing.
Wait, okay, so you don't like Oreos because they black. Damn. You really see that much racism orbiting around the Trump administration?
Really? Are you fucking dead ass fucking serious? Are you fucking dead ass? Are you really gonna bend the fuck over for his man? Are you really?
I'm asking a question.
Really?
I'm just asking a question.
He is racist. He is the H word. He is. He told you motherfuckers from the beginning what he was going to fucking do. And what did the maggots do? Oh no, he's gonna bring our gas prices down. Oh no, he's gonna bring our groceries down. No, he put us in a damn trade war. And they're giving him credit for that because he got it lowered. No, he kissed China's ass. That's what he did. He kissed China's ass. And guess what? He lowered it because he knows people's bitching at him. Okay?
I mean, I still got...
What do you want me to give him credit for? What do you want me to give him credit? Because he didn't do nothing yet.
Well,
He's stealing from the poor. He's taking away from our vets. He did it in the middle of the night. They did it. It's all over the place.
has that been confirmed?
It's been confirmed. Go look at it. $180 billion for Medicaid.
What did...
Guess what? That's for kids and shit. They're taking from fucking kids and shit. But oh no, it's for the people, right? No, he's giving to the billionaires. And the fucking white trash ass mega voted for that shit. The same people he's gonna fuck in the ass. Good luck, bookies. Guess what? The red state's gonna suffer the most.
But you make it sound like he ain't done nothing for people of color at all.
What has he done? Okay. Girly Pop, what has he done for us? Tell me. Oh, please do. Tell me.
Here you...
Oh, please.
Here you go. Hold on. You asked the question.
Say the fact is that I've done more for the black community than any president since Abraham Lincoln. I say it. Nobody can dispute it.
Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said?
Really? A white man told you he did more for the black community. No, he hasn't. No, he can't even take it. No, I can't say that. Mm-mm. You know what? That white man is some trash. That's what that white man did. He didn't do shit. What did he do? Tell me what he did.
Well,
what did he do? Nothing. Not a damn thing.
Well, according to the actual numbers, the unemployment rate in the black community during his first term was phenomenal. It dropped. There was plenty of jobs available.
The first 2 years was Obama. Thank you, Obama. That's a black man. That's not a white man. That's a black man. He didn't do shit. All he did then when the damn virus came around, darling, fucking little girly pop, and then he really fucked it all up. He didn't do shit for the black community. What the fuck he do? What the fuck? I know. You know what? You go to that shower, turn your ass white. For real. Because you ain't no black kid for us, folks. Because you over here fucking trying to say, oh, what has he done for us? Get the fuck out of here. And you know everything I'm saying is the truth. You just on this damn platform letting the little maggots spill all these lies. Oh, it's good to get a free plane. It's good to get a free plane.
I didn't say that.
You know what? Let me tell you about this free plane. It ain't even for the United States. That's what dingbats, these uneducated fools are. They gave it to him personally. He can take it after he leaves personally. And would.
Yeah. I'm not arguing with that part.
What did that white man do for that? What did that white man do? for a nation that's our enemy.
Unfortunately, we don't know right now. We'll certainly find out as time goes on. But Gangsta Grandma, I do gotta move
Well,
it
no.
on.
Well, let me tell you something. You get me off real quick. You know, I'm roasting the fuck out you. So you let the white people stay on longer. So let me tell you something. Say, yeah, you do. You let the white people stay on longer. You let the MAGA stay on a lot longer. You don't time us. But I timed you. So I'm going to say, why? Why am I always getting booted before the 15 minutes, right?
It's 10. It's actually 10.
No, you said 15.
No, it's 10. It is 10. It's always been 10.
Whatever. You still let them talk. But anyways, let me tell you something. I come here and I spit the fucking truth. You feel what I'm saying? I don't give a damn what the white man thinks about me. Cause I don't kiss the white man's ass. See, I'm not on here like you, letting them talk and shit, letting them spill the hatred, and oh my God, everything's free. You know what? Now, one of these motherfuckers tonight said, why? He's letting the white man come over here and not the black guy. You know what they said? What they tell you? Not a goddamn thing. No reason why. You know why? Because they're all racist. All he's done is racist. You're letting the fucking white Africans come over here, but you're not letting the black and brown people from anybody else. And you're still riding that the little mini banana over there. And believe me, it's really small. Because I can guarantee you his nuts is to the fucking floor.
All right, Gangsta. Thank you. And by the way, her comment in regards to the white immigrants from South Africa coming here, we talked about it. Talked about that at the beginning of the live. That's one point she's making that I agree 100%. There is no explanation for why the Trump administration, in what they are terming the largest deportation in history, why they are getting rid of so many brown and black immigrants, eliminating any method of claiming asylum to get in the country, but yet bringing white immigrants from South Africa in the country. There is no explanation for that. No legitimate explanation for that. Fact is, most of I believe all of the asylum seekers they're bringing in from South Africa, none of them even had a case in place when Biden was in office. So all of these folks, their cases are less than 3 months old, and yet they are already in America on American soil. How the hell did they get to the front of the line? What made them leapfrog over everyone else when we're claiming that we're okay with you coming in the country, just get in line and do it the right way like everybody else? But yet I don't have an answer for that. That looks bad by every stretch of the imagination. So what my last caller was saying in regards to that, I can't argue with her. That does look bad. And because they are white immigrants, and all of the ones that are predominantly getting kicked out are black and brown, it does give some sort of credibility to her claim that it looks racist. I like to push back where I can. I can't come up with any devil's advocate or any opposing side to that. Now, we can argue that in South Africa, they're being mistreated by the black population, but then I could bring up what's happening in the Congo, what's happening in Rwanda, what's happening on the Ivory Coast, what's happening throughout South and Central America. There's a lot of people being greatly mistreated, chopped and hacked apart with machetes and shit like that. What they're going through in South Africa is no different than plenty of other nations. Folks are being forced into human trafficking, forced into the drug trade and all of that. What they're going through in South Africa is no worse than any of that. Why did they get propelled to the front of the line? I don't have any answer for that other than it looks really bad. It looks really bad. And once again, we're talking about the Trump receiving an aircraft for $400 million. Fact is, before Qatar was giving Trump or indicating they want to give Trump a jet for $400 million, Elon Musk was giving Trump a sum that is nearly equal to that. Where is Elon Musk from? The same location that these immigrants happen to be coming from. And Elon Musk has been championing the notion that they're being mistreated. So I'm just going to tell you, just looking at it at face value, it clearly looks like bringing these immigrants back or bringing these immigrants to America is some type of repayment to Elon Musk. Hopefully that's not what it is. I know it's a speculation, but this guy comes from that country makes a huge donation to Trump's campaign. Oddly enough, he's making this donation to a country he's not from. Why would he care so much about America that he would give us 300 and some odd, almost $400 million of his own money? That doesn't make any sense. Same way it doesn't make any sense for Qatar to give us a $400 million jet either. What is it about Trump that people just feel so fucking generous? That doesn't make sense. You don't have to love or hate Trump to understand it. There is no such thing as a free lunch. Is that not what we tell liberals that want entitlements in socialist policies in this country? Nothing is free. Everything comes from somewhere. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Yet all of a sudden, all of this gifting is hovering around Trump. There is something odd about that. Why are people so eager to give him huge sums of money? They just want to do it out of the kindness of their hearts. That doesn't make any sense. It just does not. There has to be something else there. And if you just look at it logically, I tend to think it would be hard for you to disagree. Real quick in the comments, though, we found your Indian meat appa. I don't know what you're talking about there. Trump rescues 59 people and a liberal finds an issue because Trump is not in the job of rescuing. He rescues. I can't do nothing but laugh at that. You're going to say that Trump bringing over 59 immigrants from South Africa, that he is rescuing 59 people, and it's wrong for a liberal to find an issue with that. While he is sending folks back to El Salvador knowing they're going to go to prison when they get off the plane. He clearly isn't the type to just blindly rescue people. He's rescuing a certain type of person is why we're having this conversation. You think there's not some people who might need to be rescued south of the border? I don't hear you talking about that. He's sending them back. In fact, some of the Afghanis that actively helped American soldiers in the war in Afghanistan actually came to America with a legitimate claim for asylum, obviously, is that I helped America fight against my own country in a war. It's not safe for me to remain in Afghanistan. He's deporting some of them folks back. But him bringing over South Africa is why he's rescuing 59 people. Give me a fucking break. Seriously? That's what you're coming up with? Let me go back to the bots. No, it ain't that he's rescuing 59 people. He's rescuing 59 type of people. It's the type of person that he's rescuing. Why would you send back Afghanis that helped our soldiers on our mission at the expense of their lives? I mean, you literally are sending them to get killed. So he's not in the business of rescuing people. Unless maybe they need to be a certain type. This whole, he hasn't given them anything for it is utter bullshit. That's not how it works. He is not allowed to accept any personal gifts, period. Well, and I'll tell you that. And by the way, tap the screen, get the likes on up to about 80,000. I think we can do that if you tap the screen, let your thumbs not be lazy. Tap the screen on TikTok, get the likes up. In regards to the comment that it's utter bullshit that he has not actually accepted it. True, he does not have the jet in his possession yet. That is true. But when you listen to the language that he is stating, and I'll give you a clip of it, this is coming from Trump himself.
I could be a stupid person to say, oh, no, we don't want a free plane. We give free things out. We'll take one, too. And it helps us out because, again, we're talking about we have 40-year-old aircraft. The money we spend, the maintenance we spend on those planes to keep them tippy-top is astronomical. You wouldn't even believe it. So I think it's a great gesture from Qatar. I appreciate it very much. I would never be one to turn down that kind of an offer. I mean, I could be.
So let's make something clear. I don't want to hear a damn thing about whether he can or can't, because somebody in the comments said he is not allowed to accept any personal gifts. In my humble opinion, this is very similar to Beto O'Rourke saying, you're damn right, I'm going to take away your AR-15s. It don't matter if he can or cannot do it. We're going to hold him accountable for making it clear that he wants to do it. We didn't say that about Beto O'Rourke. When he was talking about taking away guns, well, you know, he really can't do that. No, we held him accountable for saying he wanted to. Trump clearly wants to do this, whether he can or cannot. His language is pretty clear. He wants to do this. He shouldn't be wanting to do something that is illegal, that goes against the Emoluments Clause, that is unconstitutional. So it doesn't matter if he's done it or not. In other words, it's okay for him to talk about committing a unconstitutional something. It's okay for him to talk about doing something unconstitutional as long as he doesn't do it, as long as Congress stops him. Get the fuck out of here. Let me go back to the box. Yes, he can keep it. They will use loopholes already in place for this. I believe that, alter ego. I actually do believe that they will use loopholes like that. And that's why I've often said that once Trump is done with his term or passes away or whatever, that for our country to maintain its dignity, for lack of a better term, they're probably going to have to create some anti-Trump laws going forward so that nobody else tries to squeeze through these loopholes that he has been squeezing through that no one ever expected a president to ever actually do. A lot of the presidential powers are delivered on the honor system. And he's doing, people just never expected somebody to do some of this stuff. I mean, so in the future, they're going to probably have to pass laws to make it far more solid, almost like mandatory actions. If a president does this, by law, you have to do that. Because he's proven that even if you have laws, if you have an inept Congress, it might not even mean anything. So they're going to probably have to end up passing laws to, you know, like for instance, some of the stuff he did around the election, for instance. You have to pass some laws to prevent him from doing this kind of stuff. I mean, he's just really testing the boundaries of the law over and over again. I mean, up to and including now they're talking about getting rid of habeas corpus. I mean, you just can't have somebody doing this shit. And Congress is just sitting by, well, it might be in the best interest of the country if everybody didn't get due process. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they gotta, because you're just leaving Trump has shown the way to any monster in the future what they can get away with. You got to close that door. You've got to close that door. So because the next person already knows now. You know, Trump is still kind of inching his way and figuring it out. I mean, he don't show the next person. If you want to be a monster, you can use this avenue. You can do that. I mean, now we're up to talking about a third term. I mean, he's just literally tossing away everything we've known as a tradition. Looking in the comments, I see Mark Smith says, "You are nuts, dude." Okay, fair enough. This is exactly what Project 2025 playbook was about. The military must step in and remove this regime now. That's not going to likely happen. I mean, it's still probably going to have to take place by vote. Only way I can see some kind of escalation to that level is if Trump does something that's really divisive to the point where people actually, you know, like for instance, getting rid of due process, getting rid of habeas corpus, and making the notion that you want to start potentially deporting American citizens could lead to stuff like that. I mean, because we still are heavily armed. This still is an armed nation. You might start having some folks that are saying, no, as opposed to you sending me to El Salvador or Libya, which is another country is talking about sending people to, fuck it, I'd rather just, you know, hold court right here on my porch. You know, just go and get whatever I got, and, you know, you can just take me right now, because I'm not coming back. You're sending me to Libya. I'm probably not going to come back anyway. Fuck it. I'm a whole court on the street. I mean, you probably have some of that start to happen. So I can see it from that standpoint. Hopefully it doesn't get that far. But when he is talking about getting rid of habeas corpus and due process and sending homegrown citizens to other countries, you got to at least take into a possibility that it could. It doesn't sound as far-fetched anymore, because some of the things that Trump's administration is saying would have sounded very far-fetched coming from any administration in the past. You would have never expected another administration to be telling a foreign leader, we want to send American homegrown citizens to your country for you to incarcerate. That ain't something you would have ever heard before. So it's only stretching it. It's only, speculating so much because he's saying some pretty wild shit that you never would have heard from anybody in the past. Theodore Patrick, good evening. Where was the due process when the migrants came in? Oh, there wasn't it. Okay, that's a good point, Sheila. So what are you saying, that if I go in the store and let's say I steal a bunch of shit, or I carjack someone, or I take your car in the middle of the night, I didn't give you any due process at all when I stole your car. So when the police arrest me, they shouldn't give me due process either, is what you're saying. No criminal. I'm going to tally up illegal immigrants in there as well because they are committing a crime. But fact is, no criminal gives their victim due process. So your argument is, well, since the victim didn't get due process, neither should the criminal. Then basically you would get rid of due process. You're pretty much painting a picture of getting rid of due process for everybody. Because your argument is, well, their victims didn't get due process. So if you're charged with committing a crime, don't give him due process because he didn't give his victims due process. That's what you're saying. Go back to loving Trump. Look, I'm not going to stop giving Trump credit when he's done something worthy of getting credit for. I think him bringing home the last American hostage in Gaza is something he deserves credit for. If he is correct in stating he helped negotiate a ceasefire between Pakistan and the nation of India, I think he deserves credit for that. If he had have ended the war between Ukraine and Russia, I would have been the first to give him credit for that. I'm not going to just hate the guy, but right now he is president. He's doing a lot of controversial shit, and I'm not just going to go blindly loving the guy either. I mean, it is what it is. You got to be able to take both sides. I get my beloved MAGA side. I only want to hear things that are favorable to Trump, and the liberals only want to hear things that are critical of Trump. We don't do that here. We tackle both sides. Let me try another caller. My last caller didn't come through. We'll try it with user 52. Good evening. Tim is a smart dummy, says I take the backhanded compliment, I think. User, good evening. User, are you there? He's here, but he's not by the mic, I guess. All right, well, if you're not there, I'll go ahead and drop you. He can't wait to impose martial law. I hope we don't get there, but like I said, with Trump, I no longer see anything as fear-mongering anymore because Trump his administration and he himself has said and done things that I am absolutely certain that if a liberal had said Trump is going to say this if he gets elected, you'd have been accused of fear-mongering. If you had said that if you re-elect Trump, they're going to be talking about getting rid of habeas corpus, they're going to be talking about deporting immigrants without due process, they're going to be talking about sending homegrown criminals to a prison in a foreign country, all of that would have been fear-mongering. MAGA would have been willing to cuss you the fuck out for suggesting that Trump is going to be talking about not giving people due process. They would have been really angry of any liberal that accused Trump if he gets reelected of saying that. Well, now he's in office and he's actually saying it. So I'm not very certain at this point that any accusation made against Trump has a 100% chance of never happening. I'm just not that clear on that anymore because he is so unpredictable and has done things that are so far off the beaten path. I just don't know. I mean, hopefully he doesn't get rid of habeas corpus, but his administration is on camera admitting that they're considering it. Just like there were plenty of folks suggesting that if Trump gets reelected, he's going to try to be a dictator and not leave office and run for a third term. That was fear-mongering. That was the liberals trying to say whatever they could with Trump derangement syndrome to prevent him from getting elected. Well, now he's in there, and that's exactly what's happening. So, like I said, I cannot, at this point, in good faith, ever suggest that something made against Trump is speculation or fear-mongering because they're doing so many wild things. Prices are coming down, says Kim Smith. That is true, certainly with the price of fuel. That is true. You sure are putting the American taxpayers in a bad spot, Tim. How so, Paul? State your case. How am I putting the American taxpayers in a bad case. I don't see that. I don't understand. I don't understand what you mean. I'll say that. Maybe I'm doing it, but you got to give me more clarity on what the hell you're talking about so I can understand it. Looking in the comments, the GOP literally tried to pass a bill to give him a third term. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. That all of that was fear mongering. When he was interviewed by Hannity, and Hannity asked him, people were saying you're going to be a dictator and all of that. And he was like, I'm only going to be a dictator on day one. No, that has turned out to be false. That has clearly turned out to be false. And he was also asked whether he would be a vindictive president. And he stated he wouldn't have time to be taking revenge out on people. That has turned out to be false. I mean, he's going after everything from TV stations to colleges to law firms that have been doing things that were against him. Listen, if you support Trump, you believe the folks that have been going against him deserve whatever he has coming their way. Fair enough. But he does have things coming their way. Fact is, he is operating as a vengeful commander-in-chief. You think they deserve him to take revenge out on. That's fine. But he is doing it. He is doing it. So he stated when he was running that he would not do that. And he clearly is. They were breaking the law since that. Like I said, he stated, though, he was not going to be a revengeful. By the way, the law firms he's going after, they were not breaking the law. He's going after plenty of people that were not. You're saying they were breaking the law. You're forcing law firms to give you pro bono work and shit. Them law firms are not breaking the law. The law firm that takes Hillary Clinton as a client is suddenly breaking the law, or one that takes Robert Mueller as a client. You just pissed off that law firm was defending the guy. They're not breaking the law. They were doing their job. They're just doing their job. It would be no different than going after Johnny Cochran because he defended O.J. Simpson. You think O.J. Simpson's a piece of shit. Okay, maybe O.J. Simpson was a piece of shit, but Johnny Cochran is just doing his fucking job. That's what a defense attorney does. He's going after attorneys. That would have been fear-mongering. All of that would have been fear-mongering. Stella is not only putting people in jail, think harder, think like a mafia boss. Yeah, he's doing a lot more than putting people in jail. He's hurting people financially. Anytime you hear him talking about getting rid of federal funding, a lot of that's in revenge. A lot of that stuff is in revenge. Good example, getting rid of federal funding for liberal universities like Harvard and Columbia, suggesting that they're not protecting Jewish students on campus from these wild protests. So since you're not providing security for Jewish students from these wild protests, I'm going to cancel your federal funding. Now, this is a guy that did not even protect his own vice president from a wild protest that he threw. He doesn't make a good messenger on that. I'm not saying he may not have a point in some kind of way you could finagle it where he has a point, but he threw a wild protest himself and did nothing to protect the House and Senate. He just doesn't make a good messenger on that, in my opinion. So why are these law firms going along with the bullshit? They don't have a choice. He's going to law firms and telling them, if you don't do pro bono work for me and my friends, because it's for Trump and associates of Trump, they got to do free work. If you don't do that, we're going to deny all the attorneys for your firm access to any federal buildings. And the federal buildings are like the courthouses and shit. So if I'm being charged with a federal crime and I hire one of those lawyers, if he does not have access to any federal building, he can't get in there and defend my case. You're not allowed into the fucking courthouse. So it's a backdoor way of bankrupting the firm because these are all federal attorneys. So they can't take any clients that are dealing with federal cases if they're banned from the courthouse. So it's a backdoor way of just bankrupting the firms. And as a result, they caved. Almost like you go into a pizzeria. My boss goes into a pizzeria. 10% of your profits off top goes to me. You go, fuck you, I'm not paying you. So all of a sudden I have nefarious characters standing outside of your place, fucking with all your potential customers. Before you know it, Nobody wants to come to your pizzeria. I'm not walking through that crowd. They got 5 or 6 henchmen standing out front. My car ain't safe to park. Nothing. So either you gonna pay me or I'm gonna make it so you don't do business. And that's kind of what he's been doing. That's kind of what he's doing. Looking in the comments, I heard they offered pro bono. Yeah, they didn't get a choice. They didn't get a choice. I'll tell you this. What's going to likely happen, like I said, a lot of anti-Trump laws if he leaves. It's a good chance because if you sign a contract and you can prove you signed a contract under duress, you can get a judge oftentimes to void that contract. It would not surprise me once Trump is out of the picture if those law firms step up, particularly if they get a liberal. If you get a liberal in the White House after Trump, those all of that pro bono work is going to be voided. They would void all of that. And my guess is they would probably make some kind of avenue for those folks to claim some of their money back. Because everybody knows they're being railroaded. It's not even, Trump talks about witch hunts and how he's railroaded by the government and how Biden was weaponizing the system. Trump is clearly weaponizing the system. I don't think that's even up for debate. He's weaponizing the system to go at the people he has beefs with. And because we love Trump, talking about my right side of the aisle, you're okay with it. Because you think a lot of those folks deserve what's coming to him anyway, but he's clearly weaponizing the system to go after his adversaries. Isn't habeas corpus constitutional? Yeah. Habeas corpus is basically anytime the police grab you, you have a right to go before a judge for what you're being charged with. In other words, they can't just fucking hold you indefinitely. You have a right to go before a judge to answer to your charges, to defend yourself, whatever the case may be. Without habeas corpus, they can grab you off the street and just hold you. Just hold you. Kind of like what they've done to, like, say, folks like the shoe bomber in the past and stuff like that. Just lock you up. You've been in jail for 3 years and ain't never been charged with shit. That kind of stuff. They can just take you off the street and just hold you indefinitely. I mean, so just basically kind of just make you disappear. You don't get to go before a judge or any of that. You just detained. For whether or not they have a reason or not. I mean, they don't have to explain it. There's no judge. There's no, you're not going to be hiring a defense attorney. There's no case coming up. You're just being held indefinitely. That's why maintaining habeas corpus, which is also the same reason for why it's important not to let due process go away. Because if they can get rid of due process for illegals, there's zero stopping them from doing it for you. And the easiest way around it is, okay, if you give me, because you want the border secure, you want all of these illegals out of the country, so you give me the right, or let's say Trump, you give the government the right to grab illegal immigrants under the guise that once you came here illegally, you forfeited your right to due process. So illegal immigrants don't get due process. Let's say MAGA agrees with that. Illegal immigrants don't get due process. So if you grab an illegal immigrant and you say that this is an illegal immigrant, he doesn't get due process. So let's say I grab you and you were born and raised in the Midwest. You ain't never been out of the country. You're a red-blooded American citizen. But I don't like you for some reason. Maybe I don't like your politics. Maybe I don't like who you voted for. Maybe I don't like your race. And I just grab you. And I tell the American people, this is an illegal immigrant. If you don't get due process, how can you prove that I'm lying? You just gone. And keep in mind, the American people may not see when I grab you. Maybe you're leaving your house in the middle of the night to go to work and 4 or 5 guys grab you. You don't get a court date. Remember, you forfeited your right to due process. If I say you're an illegal immigrant, then damn it, you are. You don't get a court date to prove me otherwise. You're just gone. I don't have to notify your family you've been grabbed because they're not notifying the families of these illegal immigrants. So you just literally disappear. That's it. You just disappear. All I have to do is say you're an illegal immigrant. Doesn't have to be true, because you're never going to get a court date to prove otherwise. So if you believe that getting rid of due process for illegal immigrants will never result in it happening to Americans, you don't know how the game works. You just don't know how the game works. All you got to do is say it, and therefore it is. You can grab anybody and do that. So that's the problem. Looking in the comments, undocumented citizens are the guinea pig of this plan. This will happen to us at some point. In my opinion, if you allow illegal immigrants to be deported or arrested and deported without due process, I'm going to speculate here because we don't know, but I'm going to speculate there's probably a good 80 to 90% chance it'll happen to Americans. Because we know Trump is vindictive, and now you've given him the power to literally disappear people. You just have to trust our government that they won't do it. And it doesn't have to come from Trump. It could come from Tom Homan, his border czar. It could come from anyone. Any federal official could do it. Anybody that don't like you could grab you and say you don't get due process. You do not get a chance to prove your case. You are off the streets. You are in the back of the fucking paddy wagon heading somewhere, knowing that there is no court date for you. All you know is they handcuffed you, and the few people that may have saw you picked up off the street were told you were an illegal immigrant, and they've already given the government the power to do whatever they want with illegal immigrants. That's it. That's it. You got to hope your government doesn't mistreat that power. And I think that's really insane to have that much trust. You wouldn't trust Hillary, Biden, Harris, or Obama with that power. Why would you trust Trump? Why would you trust any man with that much fucking power? They're going to trade African Americans for South African whites is what Trump is doing. I don't know about that. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to deport blacks to Africa and import white. I'm going to say I don't see it, but as I've indicated, under Trump, I would put that at about a 10% chance of happening, but I'm not going to put anything at zero with Trump because he is so unpredictable and goes off the beaten path so much. But I don't expect him to do that, even though Memphis in the comments says deport the majority of you. So Memphis wants that to happen. So there you go. There you go. I think you'd have more folks that would be willing to go around and actually take the lives of African Americans than to do that. I think it would just be easier to just go around with like the final solution during the Adolf times, as opposed to paying to literally deport millions of African Americans. They would just come up with a final solution. You know, what do we have now? You know, just a bunch of folks with pickup trucks and rifles just go through the area and just, I think you'd have more of that before you would have folks deporting that many of them. The new Gestapo, it does have Gestapo-like similarities. I'll leave it at that. Let's try it with Lewis. I've been trying to bring up callers. I don't know what's going on. There is a population increase expectation leaning on Russia, Ukrainians, and Afrikaners. That's going against replacement theory, I suppose. Lewis, good evening.
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going good. Am I just going off the deep end with this shit? Does this, what I'm saying, makes absolutely no sense at all? Or do you see any possibility there may be some validity to this?
I'm going to have to go with Gangsta on this one. You are fluffing so bad. I mean,
I just painted a picture that is darker than my damn skin color. What am I fluffing on?
What I mean, I'm just talking about the whole overall picture. Let's face it, man. This guy is definitely trying to get black and brown people out of this country. Or he's trying to at least make you irrelevant. There's no question about it.
I could see more of the irrelevant side. You're not going to get black and brown people out of the country. It's just too fucking many of them.
There's nowhere to send us.
Yeah, it's too many of them.
He tried to come up with a place, but they kind of like have nixed that. But now he's gonna. Now he's talking about opening up Alcatraz. Who do you think is going to be? Who's going to be the residents of Alcatraz?
Well, fortunately, Alcatraz is not that big.
Well, it only holds 300 or so
Yeah,
people. You're right.
it's not that big.
But here's the thing, though. But no matter what, if he gets rid of due process,
We're
a
doing
lot of us are screwed. Let's just be for real. I mean, and especially people of color.
Yeah.
I mean, when a guy could just pull you off the streets and lock you up, and with an indefinite date, you are in a world of shit. Even in Russia, when they do those kangaroo courts, they at least give the people due process. Even though it's kangaroo courts and they already know what the verdict's going to be before they even go.
Right.
But my thing is they at least give it to them. Now, here's my thing, T. This is what I want you to think about. Don't think for 1 second that Qatar didn't get something from Trump for that $400 million.
I can't imagine anyone thinking that Qatar would just give Trump a jet for $400. I think everybody, even MAGA may just be okay with it. They just trust that Trump is going to do what's right for the nation, and whatever deal he made,
Right.
I don't need to know I don't need to know how the sausage is made. But I think even MAGA realizes that there was something given to Qatar for that jet. They didn't just give us that for free. I think even they know that.
No, there's no way. And not only that. Now, you know that they just approved Trump just signed a thing to actually sell off our parklands in, where's it at, in Arizona and Iowa. We're actually going to, our national parks, he's going to let people buy it.
Really?
Buy land in our national parks. Now, here's the kicker. Who do you think is going to buy that land in those national parks?
Probably a lot of his friends and associates.
China.
No, I don't believe that. You're trying to tell me Trump is going to sell out parts of America to China? I don't believe that.
China already owns a lot of land, and they own a lot of farmland already in the United States. They own all the big farmers that you see. They've all been bought by China. China owns most of the big farmers around here.
All this tough talk, all of this tough talk coming from Trump against China, and you believe I actually don't believe that. I have a hard time believing that one.
But hold on. He announced on Sunday that they were going to release the land to be sold in the national parks out in the Midwest. Okay. And then all of a sudden Monday, he has a deal with China.
Hey, look, I hear you. I understand what you're saying. I just don't.
Tim, when I say this stuff to you, all I ask you is that about a year from now, when I say, Tim, I told you so, just remember this, okay?
I'll remember it. I don't believe it's going to come true. I don't think Trump's going to sell out national parks to China. I'm willing to give Trump as much criticism. I just don't. That's all he does is talk bad about China. I don't see that. To China?
But he talks bad about him a lot, and at the same time, he talks good about him a lot, how friendly he is.
Yeah, he does that. Yeah, he does that all the time.
I mean, how good he is with them. I mean, how they found
because the man is a natural born charmer. I mean, he insults the hell out of people too, but he knows how to charm people, and I think that's part of him just trying to. I mean, the charming is not real.
You say charm, I say con.
Well, I just said the charming is not real, so if you want to call it a con, so be it. I mean, he's doing that. I don't disagree with that part of it, but that's how he speaks.
Like I say, when I met Bill Clinton, you know how people say Bill Clinton is charismatic and he just takes over the room, especially with the women folks.
Okay,
that's Bill Clinton. Obama was the same way. Trump is not like that. When Trump walks in the room, everybody kind of holds their nose, believe it or not. He's the kind of person that nobody really wanted to have anything to do with. He was never a welcome part of the socialites in New York City. Well, I lived in New York for 12 years, and I'm telling you, he was never really a part of the social life. He tried to be, so what he did was he ran out to Hollywood, and that's when he got tight with
that man was the shit in New York. You really think nobody wanted anything to do with Trump?
Not really. Not anybody of the same social class. There was a lot of poor people beneath him that wanted something to do with him, but not the rich people.
I mean, he hanging around Hugh Hefner. I mean, Mike Tyson, you know, a lot of the black celebrities and rappers. I don't know. You telling me nobody wanted? This guy just kept climbing the ranks, becoming a multi-billionaire or at least multi-millionaire. We know for sure, and nobody wanted to do anything with him.
He was giving away money. But now some of those same people are saying that the only reason they were around him was because of his connections and what he knew and all that good stuff. It wasn't because they liked him. You know what I'm saying? But look at this. Think about the Mark Cubans who said they would never deal with anything related to Trump. The Bill Bates, all the really rich guys in the United States. So everybody thinks, this is the funny thing about it. Everybody says that Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, right?
Yeah.
He's the richest known man in the world.
Okay, so what's your point?
The really rich people don't want you to know that they are the really rich people. What do you think happened to the Vanderbilts? Whatever happened to the Hughes family? All those people still are around. They just keep it low key. They're still running things, man. He's not running anything.
So you're saying you don't believe Elon Musk is the world's richest man?
No, I do not. I believe he's the wrong. I think he's the one that just takes the realm of it and loves it. The rest of them don't want you knowing that.
Well, we know that we know that
it's almost being like the Godfather. Once you let everybody know you're the Godfather, you're going to prison.
I don't know, because you got the likes of Jeff Bezos. You got I can't think of the guy who owns Virgin Atlantic and all of that stuff. That guy, I mean, they know on paper that Elon's worth more than them. I mean, Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, you know, the owner of Amazon. You know, all of these folks are worth a ton of money. And on paper, Elon is worth more than them. So, I mean, shit, who else is up there above Elon?
Who knows? I heard a rich, maybe not. This is what the word is on the streets with people with money. Is they actually think Putin is the richest man.
Yeah, I've heard that too. That could be. I mean, really, when you think about it, if you live in a country that has a dictator, your money is his. If Putin shows up to your house and demands everything you own, you have to give him everything you own. So Putin probably is worth more than that.
Here's what Trump took he took a page out of Putin's playbook. Is he got all the oligarchs, all the other rich people to surround him. So my thing is that's what oligarchs are. They're just somebody who's the money people for the richest, for whoever's the most popular guy. So those guys, Putin can't have no lot of money. But he definitely, all those yachts and boats and stuff that all those other guys have, guess who they belong to? They belong to him.
Yeah.
This they won't. They just won't say it's his. I'm telling you right now, watch this right here. China is playing Trump like a $2 filler. I mean, China has the upper hand. I'm telling you that China does not need the United States. The United States needs China.
I believe that in the tariff war, I partially agree. I do believe China is in a better position than us, but I disagree that they don't need us. I do think that they need us as well. I just think that they have the ability to hurt us more than we do them. For the simple fact is, China is run by a dictator, and Trump is still running a republic. He's still dealing with a democracy, so that
China's not running. I mean, China's guy's not a dictator. He's not a dictator.
Xi Jinping is not a dictator. They're electing him every year.
No, he's not a dictator. He's not the final say when it comes to that country. They run more of. They're not a communist country like people think. They're more of a socialist country. He's elected just like they have elections.
They have elections in Russia as well, but they're not fair.
Well, I'm not gonna say China is just not. I mean, China doesn't worship. China doesn't work. Qing. How long has he been there now? About 8 years?
I don't know how long he's been in there, but you're the first person I've ever heard to suggest that China is not ran by a dictatorship. I've never heard of that.
Dictatorship. They definitely are. They're not. They are socialist They're not communist. They're just a socialist country. So they have like one guy that's kind of like. No, they have Congress. They have all that other stuff. He's not the final say on a lot of things. He really is not. It's all those old Chinese guys that you see surrounding him that's actually running things. He's just a well-educated mouthpiece.
Yeah, you're the first person I've ever heard of this.
I look at people like see, I've been to China. China's pretty. They're way more modern than we are. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That country is way more.
Yeah, but
modern
do the people have as much of a say over how their government is ran as we do?
I think they do. Look up their history. Look at their workers. Everybody thinks that China has slave labor. There's no such thing as slave labor in China. You can't work below the age of 16, and you can't work more than 40. All employees. There's no such thing as working more than 40 hours a week. You can't work more than 40.
And I see the comments. Jessica says you've been to China as an American. You ain't never been there as a China. You're speaking of China.
That's the only thing I can't. That's the only thing I can go there as American.
Right. You're speaking of China though in a far more positive way than I've ever heard. Now I get there's a lot of propaganda on other countries. Like we make Africa sound like everybody is laying around with bloated bellies and flies on them, and that's not true.
Absolutely.
But I've never heard anyone suggest that China is as free as you're making it sound, like they're voting in their own leaders and stuff, and they have a say-so over how their government is ran. I've never heard that from anybody.
I'm telling you right now, I think their election is coming up next year, and there's a good chance that Xi Jinping might not be their prime minister.
So let me ask you this: I think you kind of answered it. So you believe that if the Chinese had an issue with their leader, they have more sway over him than if we had an issue with our leader, than we have over our leaders?
Yeah, because there's nothing we can do about our leader other than if he commits a crime and then we can impeach him. And even impeaching him doesn't get him removed. We kind of figured that out last term, didn't we, with Trump? When we impeached him twice and he didn't go anywhere. And then he came back 4 years later.
Well, we can vote. Yeah, we can't do nothing with him immediately, but we can vote him out. Come the next election, and we can make the.
And that's kind of how it is. What I call dictators, I think Putin's a dictator. I think the little short fat guy over in North
Kim
Korea
Jong-un.
is a
Yeah,
dictator.
Kim Jong-un.
I think there's not very many dictators in Asia. Asia just never has been a country that was full of dictators. I mean, other than if you go all the way back to, say, maybe Vietnam or something, you know what I'm saying? Or the VC. But even Ho Chi Minh was not really a dictator. He still was voted in. I know what you're saying. A lot of those elections.
When you think about Tiananmen Square and things like that in China, I have never heard that the Chinese citizens have the level of power that you're saying. I just have never heard that.
I'm not saying they do have power. I'm just saying they do. You know the only people who think America is really great right now?
Americans.
It's Americans.
Yeah.
We're the only ones that, over the whole world, the only people who think America is the greatest country in the world. We are not the leaders of the free world anymore. We have relinquished that title. Trump has.
Yeah, that just happened in the last few months too, though. I mean, I agree with you, but I think Trump has done more to harm our leadership role than anything in the last lifetime. I mean, Trump is showing a lot of countries
I
that
think he actually started it the last term.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I think when he
kind of got us back on track a little bit.
When he started getting out of NAFTA, getting out of the Paris Accord, talking negative about NATO, breaking the Iran deal, he started showing countries that our word is not meaningful. Yeah, Trump has set us back in terms of our position of leadership, I think, than anything else. Now, a lot of folks like what he's doing, but at the end of the day, like I've mentioned before, why would anyone make a deal with the United States after what Trump has shown? Because Trump was threatening to bomb Iran if they didn't come back to the table. And it's like, they made a deal with Obama. Trump came in and said, the deal you made with Obama is stupid, so I'm just not going to honor it. So it's like, why would I make a deal with you knowing that the next guy can say the same damn thing you did now? In other words, America no longer honors its deal. I'm not making a deal with America. I'm now just making it with the current president. the next guy might just break it. Trump has shown our word is not of any significance anymore.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what Iran has said. Iran said they're not going to sign a deal with Trump because it's totally irrelevant to sign one with him because he can break it at any time.
Yeah.
If Trump,
Go ahead.
if they made a deal with Trump right now, before 3 years from now, he probably would be throwing it out the window anyway.
Yeah. And as I said, I mean, Trump is shown, I mean, to me, it's like this. Even if Obama made a dumb deal, as he claims, or you thought NAFTA was a bad deal or whatever, if the United States puts its name on a dotted line, your word is your bond. Your word, right. We just have to see what we can do to get them, maybe buy them out of this deal or something else we can do on the back end to get them to undo this. You don't just break the fucking deal. I mean, because like I said, then when it comes to you sitting down at the table, I'm going to ask you, how do I know the next guy after you is not just going to break this? You've shown that it can happen. Why would I make any deal with you now that you've shown me that the next leader might just break it? I mean, so yeah, I think he set us back significantly by doing that.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, Tim. I used to be on Dr. Keisha Rode You Hard. Takesha is nothing compared to Grandma Gangster. Gangster Grandma. Gangster Ma, whatever. I'm telling you something, man. She be on your case. She keeps it real, though. I'm gonna tell you something, Tim. She don't say much that's wrong, and I can definitely see what you're saying coming from her side. Because a lot of us feel the same way about you. I love you, man. I
Thank you.
You my bro. You my man. But my thing is that you piss me off every night when I'm sitting here watching you. You just so when she comes on, I'm like shit.
Oh my God! You telling me that?
I just could never say what she said to you. I don't think you would let me say.
Are you trying to say that Gangster Grandma is a breath of fresh air? No, listen. Gangster Grandma hates Trump, and she's not gonna get Trump She's not gonna get Trump credit for any damn thing. And she's pissed off that I do give Trump credit when I think he deserves it. Gangster Grandma is set in her ways. I gotta move it on, but I give you the last word. You really think that, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now. Yeah, she's on point with a lot of us. Trust me. The thing of it is that you gotta remember this. Don't give this guy a whole lot of credit for bringing this kid home. Biden was working on that. Biden just refused to negotiate straightforward with Hamas. He would not talk to Hamas. He went through Netanyahu, and Netanyahu didn't really want to. Right now, Netanyahu people are pissed off, and everybody's pissed off with Trump also because they feel like Trump just was concerned about the American, not so much about the rest of the Israelis that are still being held hostage. Well, so he really kind of undermined Netanyahu. So I'm sure today Israel's not happy with the United States.
Well, Trump will figure out a way to make them happy. Thanks for coming through, Lewis. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Tim. Have a good night.
You too. And Gangster Grandma is not right. There's no fluff in here. And Will G says, my beloved Knicks won 3-1. Wow. So that's the Knicks in Boston, right? Oh shit. All right. Well, the Knicks were at home, so all right. Jim Crow America MAGA says that says Mom X. I think I'm reading. I can't see that without my spectacles. On point, yep, boy. I don't know. You guys are crazy with that. Anyhow, looking in the comments real quick. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Tatum hurt his ankle. It's over for Boston. Well, one more game, and it will be. That's an upset. That's a big upset right there. Looking in the comments, do people have the right to hate? Yes, they do. Yes, you do have the right to hate. It's probably best if you don't make that known. It could affect your life. I mean, just like you have the right to free speech, but it comes with consequences. If you want to go around saying hateful rhetoric to folks and things like that, you have a right to do it, but it could come with consequences. Everything from getting fired to having people wanting to attack you and shit like that. I was on the highway the other day, rural America. I'm out in the Midwest, not in Chicago at this point, rural America. and I'm on a highway, rural highway, 2-lane highway, and in the middle, the grassy part, pickup truck, big ass, what do you call them, flag posts. One was an American flag, the other one was a Confederate flag. I'm up north. I'm not in the Confederate side. I don't, people up north waving around the Confederate, big ass flag in the middle of the highway. I don't talk about a lot of this shit, but another issue too recently, I was out for a walk. I normally take a 2-3 mile walk after my day job just to prevent the fat from building up. And I've been taking this walk for a while. Anyway, I'm taking a walk and I'm updating my social media page, something I was putting on TikTok or Instagram or one of my streams. Looking down at my phone, I had sat down on one of the local benches or whatever, so I'm looking at my phone or whatever, and I hear somebody yelling something at me. I didn't know what the hell they were yelling. It was some kid, head sticking out of a car, yelling. I just threw the thumbs up. People, sometimes you go for a walk, somebody may say hello or something, you get to an intersection or whatever. Anyway, I didn't know what he said, so I just kind of, instinctively threw up the thumbs up. And as he continued progressing past me, it snapped in my head what he was saying, because he repeated, said, "Yeah, you an N-word." He had yelled out the N-word, and I didn't understand what he was saying, and I just instinctively gave him the thumbs up, and he cleared it when he saw me give him the thumbs up. I guess he probably still don't know that I actually knew what he said, because I gave him the thumbs up. I didn't say shit back to him, but yeah, he just yelled out the window and called me an N-word. For no reason at all. Kid looked like he might have been teenager, early 20s at best. And there was about 3 or 4 of them in the car. So, little shit like that happens. Now, I am a, CCW type guy. But what do you do when something like that happens? Because a person has the right to free speech. People have the right, and that's the reason why I'm bringing this up, because somebody asked, don't you have the right to hate? You have the right to do that stuff. But what happens if 3 or 4 people are yelling that out of a car and then they get out of the car? Is it still, can you legally draw down on that? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, because shit, that's what I'm thinking. If you're gonna say some shit like that and then get out of the car, I'm thinking that something's about to happen. So, like I said, it did happen to me. That was last week that happened, by the way. So it ain't that far back. Both of those incidents I just stated, the highway incident and this guy yelling that, both of those things just happened within the last probably 10 days or so. So, looking in the comments though, I was out to seeing Hamas flags and Mexican flags flying in America. That's crazy. We didn't fly Mexican flags in America for the longest. And by the way, the Mexican flag is not a symbol of hate. Mexicans don't have a history of being hateful to America. I'm not going to put the Mexican flag, which is what you're trying to counter the Confederate flag with. It's not even in the same universe. Mexican flag, really? You counter with that, hard rocker? I thought now the Hamas flag, look, I don't understand why the far left is doing shit like that, because if Hamas had their way, you'd be jailed for most policies that the far left favor. You're not going to be in Gaza talking about your trans or flying around the rainbow flag or even talking about women's rights. So I don't understand why the far left does not understand. These are not your people. What Israel is doing is akin to a war crime. But if these people were free, they wouldn't like you. I don't understand why the far left is so pro-Hamas. Because the Hamas is not very pro-left at all. In fact, Hamas in most Middle Eastern countries are essentially far right. They are far right in their policies. They believe in a strong religious base. They're not big fans of minority communities. I mean, it's far right type shit. It's nationalist properties. I mean, it's all far right stuff. I don't know why the progressives have taken up them as a cause. This is a far right outfit. So I don't, that part I don't understand. Try that in Israel. They don't like LGBTQ. Nobody really likes the T. The L, the G, and the B, lesbian, gay, and bisexual. Most civilized countries are now accepting, if not friendly, to the L, the G, and the B. It's the transgender community that receives all the hatred, particularly if you are a transgender female, meaning that you were born a male. That's particularly who are going to get the harshest treatment. If you're a girl and you want to go around dressed as a guy, you're not going to face even half of the wrath of the adverse. Same thing in the gay community as well. If you're a gay male, it's much harder than you being a gay female. Gays get treated way worse than lesbians do. So if you're a guy and you get involved in that community, you're going to receive a lot more hate than it would if you were a girl. USA cannot protest without being detained anymore. Not 100% there, Chris, but it's getting there. It's, if you're an immigrant, that you're correct about that. If you are an immigrant, you're saying that in the USA you cannot protest without being detained anymore. If you are an immigrant, that is true. If you are an immigrant, legal, illegal, green card, doesn't matter. If you are an immigrant, it is not safe to protest in the Trump government. It's just not. I mean, and the Trump administration, while talking about they're only going after illegals, is bullshit. They're going after everybody. They're talking about even revoking citizenship for people. And it ain't got nothing to do with going after rapists and murderers. They're going after people they don't fucking like. That would be the better way to phrase it. We're not going after rapists and murderers. We're going after people we don't like. If you happen to be a rapist or a murderer, then yeah, it's going to make you more susceptible. But for the most part, all you need to qualify is to be somebody we don't like. And you don't have to have been somebody that have entered the country illegally. You could have came here legally as well. If we don't like you, you can get it. They just don't want to admit that. But you can come here legally and simply be someone that the Trump administration does not like. And you're just as good as well. That's bullshit, says Daniel. Okay, you can disagree with it, but there's plenty of green card holders getting kicked out. There are people who have been at protests that are green card holders that are getting kicked out, that are protesting against Trump or against his administration. They're not here illegally. They're not a rapist or murderer. There's plenty of folks that have been kicked out that are not here illegally, that are not committing any heinous crimes, and they found ways to kick them out. Yeah, I mean, what are you talking about is bullshit. You ain't been looking. I mean, some of them folks that are involved around those protests they're talking about at Columbia, at Harvard, some of them folks are exactly that. All you got to do is Google. All you got to do is Google immigrant with green card deported, American citizen deported, and those terms come up. Illegal immigrant with no criminal record deported, and you'll get all sorts of. I mean, lots of folks that are under those categories are getting deported. You don't have to take a damn thing here at face value that I'm saying. Bing, Google, Yahoo, go to your favorite search engine, DuckDuckGoose, whatever the fuck you using, and put those terms in there. And I guarantee YouTube, you can put it in there as well. And you'll get folks that are being deported that have green cards, that have citizenship, that have not committed crimes, that have been here 15, 20 years and getting kicked out. Period. So you can call it bullshit, but you can look at, what about a legitimate tourist? Those two. Yeah. Those two. You had a woman that was an actress coming in from Canada, and they grabbed her, said some information on her visa was not filled out right, and they held her for 16 days. Yeah, you can get a regular tourist even getting it. Yeah, you can get those. That's why Canadians are no longer wanting to come here, because some of them are getting caught up in it. They're not coming here illegally. They're coming here to actually tour America, spend money, and go home. And they getting caught up in it. It ain't hard to find this shit. You can just go online and look for it. It ain't hard to find it. ICE may as well be the Gestapo. I don't want to quite say they're the Gestapo yet, but to prevent from being accused of fluffing, I'll tell you this: they got the keys to be Gestapo. Tom Homan, Trump's border czar, there is nothing he's going to do wrong. I mean, he's acting on behalf of the federal government, so anything he does that's wrong is a federal crime. Trump's going to pardon him no matter what happens. In fact, there's not even going to be a case. Trump would advise the federal government to drop whatever case. I mean, he literally could kill somebody. So I'm not calling ICE the Gestapo, but I am going to admit they have the power to be it if they want to. If there was a case of some ICE agent mowing down, and I'm talking about with a firearm, mowing down a bunch of illegals, I don't think you could count on Trump to let that ICE agent get prosecuted. If he mowed down a bunch of brown immigrants and stated anything, I thought they were going to rush me, or I fear for my life, or I was saving them, whatever bullshit he came up with, I'm not 100% sure that Trump would let that ICE agent be prosecuted. I'm not 100% certain of that. I feel like there is definitely a chance, with the right amount of urging from the public, that Trump would step in and prevent that prosecution. So I'm not saying they're Gestapo, but I'm saying that they have the power to be that. You're literally on the doorstep to it. It's not quite there yet, but they're literally on the doorstep to it. I'm glad Memphis is gone. Tired of his, you talking about the guy in the comments, inbred statements. Maybe it's time for me to go too. I appreciate the 109,000. Thank you, folks, for supporting as always. You don't always have to agree. I understand that's how the program is ran. I get a lot of folks on here on the left that accuse me of fluffing, and then I get no share on folks on the right that accuse me of being a libtard, diehard liberal. In fact, I'm seeing him in the comments constantly here. He's a clown, all of that. You can't win, folks. You can't win. When you're pointing out positives and negatives on both sides of the aisle, you're going to piss off people all over the place. If you go on my TikTok side, where there are more liberals, I'm accused of being a sellout for Trump. As Gangsta Grandma often says, a fluffer. Far more MAGA is on my YouTube vertical side. I'm the dumbest fucking liberal on the planet, according to them. So maybe I need to have you guys talk to each other and figure this shit out. Nevertheless, I do appreciate the fact that you folks tune in, critical or complimentary. I don't block, ban, or censor, so understand that. You don't have to agree with a damn thing I say, and you're free to criticize me. Because I do believe that criticism is often a way of learning and correcting. So I don't mind the criticism, understand that. And as I always say in the program, regardless, the program is always going to be MAGA friendly, because that's how we work. We go left of Bernie Sanders, so I'm having dinner with Q. And if you do favor this type of programming, follow the program if you're on TikTok, Instagram, or if you're on YouTube, go ahead and give your boy a subscription. In the comments, Farrakhan thinks Trump is kicking bottoms out and likes it. Huh? Kicking bottoms out? What does that mean? Keep spreading the news. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Charles Johnson. Do appreciate that. So yes, folks, feel free to follow the program if you're on Instagram or TikTok. We're on most weeknights, and certainly give your boy a subscription if you're on YouTube. A subscription in favor of free speech. Not in favor of your speech, what you want to hear. We don't do that here. Everyone gets to speak, so if you enjoy that uncensored format where everyone gets to speak as opposed to being an echo chamber for the folks you like, then yeah, show your boy some love. Anyhow, I do appreciate you tuning in. I do got to step out. I'll let Biden say it, Kamala, you ain't black. Make Kamala Indian again. That makes no sense at all. Makes no sense. We don't think you're dumb. I don't. Great show. Hard Rocker. And Hard Rocker was critical as hell of me, but thank you, Hard Rocker. I appreciate your support. No harm, no foul. No foul. Liberal Democrats, cry me a river. Y'all got MAGA. 4 years ago today, MAGA was crying that same fucking river. Remember? Well, in August, they're going to put Trump back in via the military, and they're going to make him the 17th president of the corporation or whatever the hell it was. Now all of a sudden, MAGA's on top and boo-hoo, the liberals are crap. You're doing the same shit 4 years ago. You're doing the same shit 4 years ago. 4 years ago, it was appearing as if Trump was going to be impeached and possibly jailed, and you didn't have strong leadership in your party as well. So now all of a sudden the Democrats lost, and they don't have a strong leader right now. Some 5 months from the election, and well, the liberals are in disarray. You're in the same position 4 years ago. Shit turns around. The Republicans were in the same disarray position 4 years ago, and now look, they're stronger than ever. So don't let what's happening right now with the Liberal Party fool you, because you've demonstrated that it don't mean shit. Remember that? You know, the military's going to arrest Nancy Pelosi, and Trump was coming. Well, Trump at this time was still fighting for his fucking life. But then later on, he starts coming out with Q lapel pins on and shit. Yeah, he was just trying to find somebody that would save his ass. Well, now he's president. So it could happen the other way around as well. What platform you on? What plantation you from? I am from Georgia, Pacific 32 years. None that I know of. How is MAGA reacting to the Afrikaans getting instant citizenship? They like it. They like it. Look, MAGA tends to believe that Trump has by far the best vision for this country. By far. Maybe he does. I don't know. But I'll just say this. I need evidence. MAGA does not. If Trump says, I just found $1 trillion in waste, I'm saving us a bunch of money. As far as MAGA is concerned, that is true. It happened. So when you ask, well, how is MAGA viewing Trump bringing these South Africans to the country? As one of my viewers said, he's rescued 50 some odd people. They see it as a positive because they're going to instantly give Trump credit because they believe that Trump is doing what's right for the country. So I tend to believe you need to show evidence. Like Elon Musk, waste, fraud, and abuse, all of that shit. A lot of that stuff ain't true. Real quick here. Props to the Episcopal, I think I'm saying that right, Episcopal Church saying fuck you to the South Africans. Ooh. I don't like the fact that we've been told throughout Trump's entire tenure that it's okay to come here, just come legally and get in the line like everybody else. But then when it came to people that Trump was okay with, they didn't have to get in the line at all. These South Africans that have just come to this country and they're now on American soil, they didn't even have an asylum case in place 3 months ago. When Biden was in office, they didn't even have an asylum claim in place. Suddenly they're already here. Their claim has been approved and granted within the span of 3 months. And they've had a plane sent to pick them up and they're here. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. For somebody that's been telling you should wait in the back of the line like everybody else. He's not practicing what he preaches is my problem. Same thing about you don't need 11 dolls, you only need 2. You should be willing to be patriotic for this country and buy American. But then when he's able to get his hands on a jet from Qatar, suddenly buying shit that's made in America don't mean that, well, it's cheaper. Well, why the fuck you think people buying shit that's made in China? It's cheaper. But you're criticizing them, but because you can get a jet for cheap, well, suddenly we don't need to get it from America no more. When it comes to you, he's not practicing what he preaches is the point I'm making. You don't need $11, you only need 2. But it's okay to find money for me to have a birthday parade that might cost in excess of $90 million. And it's okay for me to have one of the most luxurious jets on the planet. But you, my little 11-year-old, which is the example he used, you don't need but $2. You don't need 200 pencils. You only need, it just sounds backwards as hell. You live in a life of excess and you telling your citizens, well, you don't need all of that shit. It just sounds backwards as hell to me. Sounds like you might want to speak some real time. I don't get what you're saying there. You're making another point too. Yeah, I mean, I'm just simply saying you can't tell your subjects that they need to make sacrifices while you're living a life of excess and trying to explain that. If she only needs $2 and she don't need 11, you don't need this fucking jet right away. The current Air Force One, the one that looks like the one I'm holding, would easily continue ushering Trump around for the remainder of his term. This aircraft would be fine for the next 3 years. If she don't need $11, you don't need a new aircraft right away. It just looks like a version of Let Them Eat Cake. And I see somebody typed that in the comments exactly what I said. Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. Your comment literally popped up while I was saying, yeah, it sounds like a version of Let Them Eat Cake. Anyhow, you guys know what I got to do. I got a day job like the rest of you fuckers. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. Follow the program. Show your boy some love in regards to subscribing to the channel if you're on YouTube. We don't have to agree. We should all allow each other to speak from an uncensored format. We'll certainly do that as long as this channel exists. And I appreciate you all tuning in. I got to go. You guys have a good night. Thank you. And real quick on the Instagram side, I did want to see if I did